all right. It's a little early here. It's 6:02 in the morning. 6:02. Um, and I don't know if you can hear all the rain, but it is storming. So if you hear, it's a little stormy Sunday morning here in Chicago. So hey, wanted to do a video. Let's do a little video. I am in a Oud mood. It's fall, and I haven't been feeling Oud in the last couple of years. I don't know if it's just me, but Oud has been kind of on the low, and I feel like it's about to come back on the resurgence. It's about to come back, so we're gonna start. And I wanted to share some Ouds that are little, not the mainstream Ouds, not the ones you always see. Y'all know how I do. So I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to do this kind of series of going through things and, looking at my fragrances and finding things that are a little bit off the beaten path. So maybe you could try something a little different or look it up. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So let's just talk about some interesting, not always talked about Ouds. I want to say thank you to all of my whole squad. The ones I talk to all the time, the ones who reach out to me on videos. It's so hard for me to divulge when things aren't going well and I'm not feeling well in things. I tend to hold that to myself. I don't ever want to come off as one of those people pandering for sympathy. But sometimes you just got to be truthful and honest about what's going on in your life. So I want to thank you all as my whole squad for always holding me down and always, being encouraging even when I'm slightly discouraged. So I just want to throw that in there and let you know that I do appreciate your words of encouragement, your words of kindness, your concern about a person that most of you have never met in real life. The majority of you all have never met in real life. So thank you all. I appreciate you all. All right, and so let's have a quick I guess moments about Oud. Oud is a wood. It comes from the agar wood. It's from the agar wood tree, right? And so what it is okay. So what it is a rosin from the tree, and it's an infection in the tree. That is what Oud is made from. I'll put a picture of it right here. So they extract from that fungus that they infected the tree with. They get the Oud from it. Now, of course, everything, Oud is very expensive. Actual Oud is very expensive. However, let's just be honest. Most of these people aren't using Oud per se. They are using an aroma chemical. It's okay. I need everybody to stop back like, oh my God, it's so artificial. Most of the things that are in our fragrances are artificial, y'all. I just want to say that. So get beyond that. And honestly, the ones that are using actual Oud are extremely expensive fragrances. Now, here's my thought, and I'm just putting it out there. I wonder how much they actually use. I wonder if the cost of when they're using it is really indicative, is parallel with how much they actually pay, or they putting a premium on it because they can. And I'm gonna go with they putting a premium on it because they can. And yes, they are paying more than, of course, a person using aroma chemical, but trust and believe they don't need that much of it, probably in the concentrations. And so yeah, okay, I'm just throwing that out there just because I'm ignorant like that. All right, so let's talk about some Ouds that are quite interesting, but are usually not talked about a lot. So I'm going to start off with this one because I was just playing with this today. This is Ramon Monegal's Monbloom. This is a tuberose Oud, y'all. Now, it has a sweetness, like a sweet tuberose, but you do, and the Oud is really well blended. So you don't get a lot of, you don't get that skanky oud. It's very smooth. It's very well blended. It's not going to hit you in the face, but it is part of the, so it gives it that woodiness that you kind of want in, you know, in a fragrance. So there's this sweet floral, and then you get this, you know, kind of woodiness from the oud. There's also, when I'm wearing it, it also has like, there's a slight sharpness to it. I think it's from the neroli in it. So it's a white floral. It's got jasmine. It's got tuberose. It's got the oud. It's quite an interesting take on tuberose and oud, which for both of them is really not a popular fragrance. But it is a very, if you like tuberose, if you like oud, it's a very good addition because it gives you this kind of, it gives you a different take on it, a different iteration. And like people like me, we like to have lots of iterations of the things we like. This just is what it is, okay? Next up is this. Next up is Amber Mystique by Estee Lauder. When you think Estee Lauder, you really don't think like this type of fragrance, right? You think more feminine, more floral, more, you know, kind of girly vibes. That's, you know, kind of sometimes sexy or whatever. But this is super unisex. This is super sexy. This is a sexy rose oud. It is giving you that, but it also has leather in it. It has a lot going on. There's a sweetness to it because it does have some black currant. It is a really good, if you want to try out a rose oud combination and you don't want to do shagaf oud or anything like that, or oud bouquet, this is a good one. But this is a in your face, you know, kind of slightly bad boy, bad girl oud. But it does have, like I said, it has sandalwood, it has patchouli, it has leather, it has the rose in it, it has amber, it's got some incense. It is a really kind of dark, kind of edgy, real cool fragrance. Something that you just really don't expect from Estee Lauder, you know, because Estee Lauder is, as I've always said, kind of old school, old woman. That's the way it used to be. But this gives it a little edginess, and it's an edgy rose oud. Love it. All right, so that's Estee Lauder's Amber Mystique. Sorry, I got something in my eye right there. Whew. All right, next up is this. This is Maison Lancome's L'Autre Oud, the other oud. This is the original formula. This is the other oud. Whereas Oud Bouquet is kind of sweet and everything, this is very woody. It's got a little kind of, I wouldn't say balsamic, but it's more woody. It's got a little sweetness in it, but it's just it's a more classic take on a rose oud. Very, you know, the rose is there, the oud is there, and then it has some herbs, you know, some green in it. So it's like it's a more green take on rose oud than the oud bouquets, which is a, you know, sweet and kind of, you know, got that sweetness to it. This is the difference, the other oud. So that's on one side, this is on the other. This is and I gotta be honest, when I bought it, I ain't gonna lie, I just bought it at the time because it was really inexpensive on FragranceNet, and I didn't know what I was buying, but I heard about Oud Bouquet and I saw this. I said, ooh, this is a good price. I really haven't worn it as much as I did Oud Bouquet when I first got it, because my nose was more to that. Now I'm more like lean toward this. I like the woodiness of it. I like the rose combination. It's a much more it's a little more edgy. It's a little more, it's more classical when you think about rose ouds, but it's really well done, and the oud is well blended with the other woods so that it's not skanky. It's just like, you know, it's one of those this would be a rose oud for, you know, for an event, and this would be for like And I'm just being honest, like, you know, the matriarch, the patriarch, you could see them wearing this and sitting there and everybody coming to them and they're smelling just classic and classic boss. Classic boss. All right, next up is this. Speaking of sweet ouds, this is Golden Oud by Opi-Oud. And this is a caramel oud. It's a caramel oud. It smells like caramel. It's got oud in it. It's really quite delicious. It's perfectly unisex. Anybody could wear it. It's just like this perfect, you know, caramel oud that is that just screams fall and winter. Just a deliciousness, and the oud is so, it's just a real mellow oud, real nice and not skanky, just well blended. It's beautiful. All right, so next up from Opi-Oud, which was my first one, is Oud After Dark. Now the interesting thing about this is, like, when you first put it on, it's okay. It's like, what? So this has apricot, it has osmanthus, it has plum, it has a little saffron, pepper, oud and rose, little incense, tobacco. It's all over the place. But let me tell you, when you first put it on, it's nice. It's like, oh, okay. But as it dries down, it becomes this fruity oud. It's like the plum really comes out. You still get the hints of the apricot and osmanthus. So it's this like fruity oud, but it's like wintertime fruit. So it's stone fruit. And then it becomes sexier and more head turning as you wear it. Like the first few times, like I was wearing it, and first I was like, I don't know if I like it. And then I was in the car with B's friend, and she was like, Ma, you smell so good. And it was like, as it was on, it just becomes more sweet, and then that incense and the tobacco and all that, the smokiness comes out, and you've got this smoky like fruit, like, you know, smoky fruit vibe. But the fruit is like really deep and very fall like, because it's like apricots and plums, but like stewed. So like stewed fruit, you know, you get this stewed fruit vibe from it, and it's smoky, and it's just very, it has a complexity, and as you wear it, it does change over time. It's quite beautiful and sexy. And I always say this is kind of bad. This is bad boy, bad girl, you know, because when you wearing this, you want some bad shit. You know, you smelling like I'm delicious, and I'm about to do some delicious things to you. All right, so now let's talk about some inexpensive ouds. You know, because sometimes we don't want to spend all our money on. We want to try. When you dipping your toe in things, you just want to get something that's got a look, that's giving it, but it's not taking all your money. So here we go. This is Judith Leiber's Topaz. Now, Judith Leiber is very underrated, and she has some really beautiful fragrances. Let me just say that, very inexpensive. This one is kind of, it's really kind of hard to explain, because if you look at the note breakdown, it just doesn't give this, because it has mango and kiwi and all this, and I don't get none of that. What I get is this like really like very, it's woody, but it's got this kind of how do I want to say it? It's kind of incensey and woody with a little fruitness to it, but really it's a floral, and it's kind of incensey, but not too incensey. It's like it's like, it almost smells like a really good incense, like but like for me, and it reads like some of the Indian incenses I have. So it reads like those type of incense. So it's got that olibanum, it's got that vibe, like the frankincense vibe, and it's got the wood in it, but the woods are blended really well. It's not too much. And then you get some sweetness to it. You know, it's got a little sweetness to it, and florals, and the florals are really well blended, because it does have, let me tell you, it has ylang ylang, taif rose, lily, jasmine, lily of the valley. So it's like a bouquet of flowers And because it's not rose, it's a bouquet of flowers. So you get this floral oud with a little bit of incensey vibe to it and some sweetness. And something about it, I always say, if topaz was a scent, this is what it would look like, because it's kind of got this rich, fall vibe to it, as opposed to saying that it is, it reads like topaz. Like topaz to me is like this golden brownish kind, color. And this is the way it feels. It feels kind of golden, like a golden fall vibe. So that is topaz. And I know that didn't make no sense, but that's what I think about it. Because remember, I'm not the best reviewer. Now this one is Minaudiere Oud by Judith Leiber. Excuse all the stuff on here. Now let me tell you, this kind of reminds me of Oud After Dark. It has a plumness to it, has a fruitiness. So it does have plum, but it has raspberry. So it's a little juicier fruit. So it's not quite as stewed fruit. It's not as deep, but it's on that line. So it's kind of deep. It's got the plum. It's got the raspberry. It's got a little of course, it's got rose in it, iris. And it's got the incense in it. So it reads similar to, very much so, Oud After Dark, but this is like not quite as bad. So this has the raspberry gives it a little juicy tartness, so it's not quite as deep and rich as Oud After Dark, but it still has that deep vibe to it, because it does have some incense in it and amber. So it's really it's got a sweetness to it, but it's got this plummy, sexy, juicy, berried oud vibe to it. The oud in here is not too much. It's kind of mild, so it's well done, and it's not too much. Sometimes some oud, you have to really be into that style of oud, but I like ones that are a little more well blended, that you can tell that it has oud in it, because it does have the scent of oud, but it's not so overpowering that it becomes skanky. All right, and here's another one that's very inexpensive. This is Lapidus Oud Blanc. Oh, this is a very kind of clean one. Has a slight peachiness to it, but what it's very musky. It's got incense, it's musk. It's a very clean oud. This is like perfectly like rose oud, very clean, very easy to wear. So if you want to try something, a oud, you want it to be kind of easy to wear, not too much, got a little sweetness to it, incensey, giving you that, oh, I'm wearing a oud rose vibe, because there is a vibe to the oud rose thing. You want to feel kind of like slightly exotic, slightly, let me just say this, in the regular world, wearing an oud rose combination comes off very not only sexy, but it also comes off very unique and slightly edgy, like you doing a damn thing. So this would be a good one if you want to try it and you're not just ready to, go total oud, but you want to try it out. This is a good one to start with. All right, now talking about some tough ouds is talking about Montales. And Montale has a tough oud. You have to really like that style, and it's always in the top. So this one is Moon Oud. So if you know anything about the Montale oud, this is that skank is kind of skanky when you begin. It does come off, you get that punch in your face oud. That's what you get from the Montales. Now this one is a leather oud, and the leather is super prominent, so you have to like a leather oud. So it's rose, it's a rose oud combination, because most of them are. That's pretty much what you're gonna get when you get a oud. But this is a leather oud, which is quite interesting in and of itself, because it really comes off like leather. So you have to be into a leather vibe. And then it does have patchouli in it, has sandalwood. So it's got a nice little woody mix and some amber to sweeten it up. But you really have to like leather to like this one, because it is really for real a leather oud. And so this is like perfect at this time of year, in the fall and the winter time, because this is like, this feels like you should be wearing your leather jacket. You should have on some cute boots, you know, some jeans. You about to go out there. You know, this is like a casual Saturday afternoon hangout kind of vibe, Saturday lunch date. Ooh, I would love to smell this on a man on a lunch date on a Saturday with some leather on, with a leather jacket on, some jeans, looking good. Oh, yes. Okay, Moon Oud. Now, this one is Oud Velvet. Now, once again, this comes off real oudy in the beginning. I mean, it's like, it's a harsh oud. You just really have to like it. But once you get past this, this becomes a tropical floral oud. I absolutely love it. It has tiara flower. It has ylang ylang. It has orange flower in it. It is so pretty once you get past the oud. Now, you might not be able to get past the oud, because it is a strong, in your face, I'm gonna punch you in the face with this oud. But once it dries down and the oud kind of, you know, mellows out, it is so beautiful. It's just such this beautiful tropical floral oud. People be sleeping on Oud Velvet. They really do. So now, I always talk about from Monegal, Royal Rose Oud, which is one of my favorite ouds. It's not talked about a lot, but it is my spring oud because it's a nice green fresh rose. I always talk about that, so I'm not talking about it right now. I'm gonna talk about a couple of different ones that they have that no one talks about, and that is Oud Gourmet. This is a gourmet oud too, so this is, you know, gourmandish. It's got white honey and it's got white honey and marzipan. I love the oud in the Monegal because you do get that oud. So, but it's a stronger oud, but it's still just kind of a very mellow oud. But it is definitely for somebody who likes oud. But this one is woody. It's more about the woods, and then it has the honey, so it's a honey kind of slightly candy-ish kind of vibe. So that's what you're getting, and you get a little amber in it, and as it dries down you get some musk, but it's more of like about the ouds, the woods, and you get this kind of sweetness but not too much. So I really like it, even though it's like, what, there's no rose, there's no florals in it. It's woody, and then it has like the honey and the marzipan, and the honey is not too thick. It's more of a white, like drizzle of honey over it with this kind of sweetness, like candied like sweetness. And as it dries down, you do get a muskiness and some amber, so it still stays a little sweet. So this is Oud Gourmet by Monegal. And now my other one by Monegal is this, and I like them because sometimes you want to have some ouds that just don't have rose in them. So these are, you know, there's a few here you see that ain't got rose in them. And here's this one. This is Night Oud. This is a sexier one. This has ylang ylang peach, some nutmeg in it, so it's got a little spiciness to it. This is a really pretty floral oud without the rose. So this is another one without rose, but it's a floral with a little spice on it. It is very sexy. This is definitely a night oud. You know, it's got some amber and vanilla in it, so as it dries down, you get, you know, you keep a little sweetness. But the oud, I just love it because it gives you that oud vibe, but it's not skanky. It's like right in that sweet spot where it's not too little, but it's not too much. It's right in the middle. And then they got some sandalwood and patchouli with it. This is really a sexy fragrance to me. This is definitely night oud. Definitely night oud. I could see it being called night oud because it is, it's got this kind of like, you know, dinner date. It's not, but let me say this, it's not like, this would be like perfect for a first dinner date. Like you want to leave an impression, but you're not trying to like give too much. You want to give them a little, you know, a little something saying that I'm a little different from what you used to. But it's not so much just in case you don't want to be bothered with them after the date. So, you know, you leave a good impression, but you don't necessarily leave it where they're going to be stalking your ass. So this is Night Oud by Mikalev. And finally, let's talk about one of my favorite houses. Let's talk about Vincent from Dreamhouse-Ikiryo. This is Ghostdance. This is a boozy blackberry oud. Oh, me and this had some times last year. I wore this. Now, you don't need a lot of it because I'm seeing I didn't use as much as I thought, but I did wear this quite a bit. But this is a blackberry oud. So you have to be into it's so delicious. It's a boozy blackberry oud. It is delicious. It is it definitely stands out on its own. I love this fragrance. I ain't gonna lie. This is definitely fall time. This is, oh, I'm smelling, you know, you smell like a Dreamhouse-Ikiryo, because we know that Dreamhouse-Ikiryo has an otherworldly, a very unique, a very, you're not going to find yourself smelling like everybody else, but you also must like his style of fragrances in order to enjoy them. They're not for everybody. They are for people who like something that's a little different. They enjoy different takes on some of the things that you're used to. So this is a blackberry oud. This is vanilla Opi-Oud. Vincent was kind enough to gift this to me, but he had sent me a sample, and I fell in love with the sample. Oh my goodness, this is the oud for the people who really like those like oud bouquet vibes, but you want to be different. You don't want to be oud bouquet, but you like that kind of vibe. This is whipped cream. It's got amaretto in it, creme brulee, vanilla. Oh my goodness, this thing smells so good. It smells like a dessert with oud in it. So this is like your vanilla-ish, you know, vanilla, creamy vanilla oud. So if you would like a creamy vanilla oud, it's got a little magnolia in it that gives it that kind of a little floral, but not too much. It's all about the vanilla and the creaminess and the dessert-like quality of this oud, and it is very delicious. There's the florals sit under it, just giving it a little something, so it's not just sweetness. So it gives it a little depth, a little interesting vibe as it dries down. And as it dries down, you get a little muskiness with that oud, that woodiness, but you still keep the boozy amaretto, that almondy lactonic vibe, that milky, that dessert-like quality. So that is Vanilla Opi-Oud by Dreamhouse-Ikiryo. All right, so I hope that I have given you, so if you're thinking about ouds, or even if you have oud and you looking for something different, you're looking for some new ouds to try, I hope I gave you some to try that you know, might want to dip your toe into. Because sometimes you just want to dip your toe, you know, just try a little something. Ooh, I might do a sample set of these. I don't know. Let me think about this. It means, oh, that's a bunch of them that I got to put in samples. I'll think about it. Yeah. For the people who don't know, I'm having a sample sale soon, and there'll be bundles, and this might be a bundle. I might do a bundle of these. You know, just do 2 ml samples. Boom, a bundle. Might be doing that. Just like, hey, this is a video I just did the bundle for. What do you think? Okay, I got some bundles coming. Okay. Don't mind me. Anyway, my hoes, be bold, be brave, be fearless, be free. Talk to you later.